I want to take a moment to make sure that we thank our host today, Big Chair. Thank you, Charles, for that introduction. I am Kris Hammond, and I am running for Chairman of the Council of the District of Columbia. And I am running because the voters in this city deserve a real choice in this election. D.C. is a city divided along lines of race and class. And this election is an election between the status quo and a unified city. As Charles mentioned earlier, for the past 10 years I have worked at the Department of Justice in the Civil Rights Division, enforcing anti-discrimination laws that protect us all. I was privileged to work both under the President Bush's administration and under President Obama's. I worked alongside people of all political backgrounds as we worked together for a common goal. So I'd like to talk to you this morning about civil rights and how my opponent has not protected our civil rights in this city. Education is a civil right. The state of education in Washington, D.C. continues to be dreadful. 42% of our high school students do never graduate from high school in D.C. 42%. And even if they do happen to graduate, they often do not have the verbal and math skills they need to succeed. We even have high school students who get A's in their classes. Then they go to college and they are put in remedial classes. So in this scenario, how can we compete on the international stage? After all, we do have an international economy today in 2014. How can we even compete with Virginia or Maryland with such a deplorable education system? So I think the problem here is, well, another thing here is that most of these underperforming schools in Washington, D.C. are in Southeast D.C. The people who can least afford to have a subpar education, those are the people who are hit hardest in this city. They're deprived of hope. You know, it shouldn't be that way. So that's why I'm a strong supporter of D.C. charter schools. And not every charter school is going to be successful, and we need to hold accountable those charter schools that aren't properly performing. But on the whole, charter schools are performing substantially better. We ought to encourage solutions that work. The Chancellor of D.C. Public Schools recently tried to extend the school day by 1 hour. She thought it would be best for the students if the school day was 1 hour longer. The Washington Teachers Union said no. The Teachers Union told the teachers, vote against this proposal, don't extend your school day by 1 hour until we have a contract negotiated. Well, the contract hasn't been renewed since 2012. Our children, the success of our children and their future can't wait. I support the DC Opportunity Scholarship Program. That program gives poor students and their families the ability to go to private schools in Washington, D.C. I think it's important that we give the private schools the confidence that if the feds cut off funding, and you know they're always doing something with D.C. these days, if they cut off funding, that the D.C. government can be there to provide a safety net, so that those students who are already enrolled in the program can continue without their education being disrupted by federal funding being cut off.